All right, ladies and gentlemen, traders, hit that thumbs up as you're tuning in and get ready for another Relentless recap. So, in this one, the main topic is going to be how to trade in a volatile market and walk away with gains because we had a crazy ticker in NAOV earlier today. Just absolute monster moves in the first hour and a half, moves that we haven't seen since maybe GameStop, right? I mean, it's ridiculous how strong stocks can be when they get ready. It's almost like there's no real way to prepare for this type of excessive volatility and excessive momentum, as in halt levels being $3, $4 a share away, up or down, the stock being able to go up $2 a share like nothing. I mean, it's quite insane the move that we had today. So we're going to talk about how I was able to navigate, manage risk, and walk away with some green. Hopefully, some of you guys can take some tips away from this video to help you out in the next session, maybe tomorrow, where we might see some more extremely volatile conditions. So, ticker symbol and AOV. For some context, this thing started off around 289 this morning, around 289. If we're really to look at the percentage gain and do the math on this, guys, from 289 all the way up to 1625, almost 500% in one day. People talk so much about the SPY. They talk so much about Bitcoin and crypto in general, but there's a hidden gem right here in the small cap land, because guess what? Honestly, since I started trading about 5, 6 years ago, every day there's at least one stock that does at least 40, 50%. And today we had one that did 500%. I was able to make $5,000. So it started off around $283 and pushed up early pre-market. So for those people who are here since 7 a.m. or earlier, they were probably able to jump in on this move up. It got all the way up to 942 before consolidating sideways. And this is exactly what I like to see heading into the open, because if a stock sometimes is too strong coming into the 930 window for open, if it's too bullish, sometimes you can get the pullback into the open. But when we have an early move up and consolidation or even a pullback, a lot of the times we can see these moves curl higher early. And for me, I'm here for 2, 3 hours. So the earlier the move happened, the better it is. So coming into the open, we initially had a red candle high of 787, 778 rather, and a low of 770. And from there, we had a massive red to green. Stock rips up, rips over 9, dips down to 869, and then rips up to 1034. Now, I came very close to capturing this entire candlestick, but I did sell my position a little soon. If we're to come here and check it out, you guys will notice that I was in at 890, which was, I believe, this trade right here, in at 899. And I'm long on the dip below the whole dollar. I noticed I did get a bit of a higher fill, but I was hoping we could see more of a pullback. That way I can get a better average, better entry, and look to hold a little longer for the extended move. So, however, I sold only in there for a couple of seconds, sold for just a small gain, and then the stock rips without me. Absolutely brutal to miss that move. And you can see my next entry is not up until 1109. So a huge gap in there from 9 all the way to 1109. So that just tells you how much of this candlestick right here that I missed. And again, it came down to the inches. And so, part of the problem though was my level 2. Again today, for those of you who may not use Dash Trader Pro, again today we had technical difficulties, technical issues coming into the open. Just unfortunate that our level 2 and time and sales are not in alignment. It's not in alignment, and it is very, very frustrating. You guys can see right here, there are orders printing at 25 and 20, but we're already here at 14 by 15. And this delay, this delay is going to cost me early because I'm going to take time. As you guys can see, I'm working on pulling up my E-Trade level 2 right here, trying to get that sorted out, trying to get the E-Trade time and sales going. And all of that is going to take time. It's just this frustration, man. You really want to be ready to go. So, and right here, I'm taking time to make sure that this level 2, or this time and sales rather, is in sync. It's not every day I'm utilizing the E-Trade time and sales. So all these things like this right here, you can end up missing opportunities, missing trades. But nevertheless, we were able to get it up right here to where I'm going to watch for that trade and try to get in here. So I got filled 19 at night at 890, sold over 19, 919 that is. So my first trade, a fairly good trade. And right here's where I'm going to try to buy back. And I'm hoping to get a lower dip on this trade because initially when we get back to 9, it's not the best or most immediate push through 9. You can see there's a bit of a churn right there. So I get out and I'm hoping for the dip, but it's not going to come. And if we skip ahead just 30 seconds later, you can see we're already at 1034. That's just how crazy the volatility and the momentum was on this one. So it rips up to 1034. It opens up. We had a low of 1011. And from there, it continued all the way to 1186. And you guys saw my next trade did not come until 1109. So what that means is the resumption didn't really give a proper dip. It just kept going. It kept going. And the dip off the very highest point is where I took my entry on this move coming up. And then from there, from 86, we had a bigger pullback to then 78. And then new highs of 1296. So at one point, if we're to skip through a little bit just to like show you guys how things played out. So around, we're really going to get into our stride here until around 933. We're going to start getting a couple of trades going, just kind of skipping through quickly to show you guys how fast we were able to get up to about 4,000. I think maybe even 5,000. So it's at night. We're at 942. We're already pushing 4K in gains, and then we're gonna have a massive loss at some point here. So I think initially a bit of a scratch loss. There's gonna be a scratch loss that's gonna come. I mean, and right here, just look at how much range the stock is moving, right? So in terms of tips for the volatility, let's not forget, in terms of tips, you have to first think about how you want to manage risk, what your daily goal is, what your max loss is. Utilize a share size that's appropriate, right? If your max loss is $500, maybe you don't want to use 1,000 shares here because in just one loss, really, with 1,000 shares of 50 cents or just a flush in general, you'll probably be hitting your max loss in one trade. So if my max loss is 500, perhaps I'm using 200 shares, in which case I have to lose $2 a share just to hit max loss. And I'm going to look to build slowly from there, couple cents repeatedly, right? So again, this one was brutal. Let's fast forward some more. I think there's going to be a massive loss. It's going to come here sometime soon. I want to show you guys that trade. So that's one way, and then you have to also manage share size as you go. So even for myself, you can see I'm even coming down to 500 shares in some areas where I'm not as certain, just trying to ease and press, trying to make sure I can gain a good rhythm. And trades like this are very impressive trades, right? I'm in at 70, the stock is at the whole dollar, 30 cents. But if I'm like a maniac taking, and I mean, look at that turns into a 60-cent trade, right? I think right here I'm going to get blazed though. I'm going to try to buy the dip with size, and I'm pretty sure the dip is going to cook me alive. And so I was hoping this dip would come sooner. And maybe this right here, I should have left it alone, but look at this. It's going to come down. I'm going to try to take right here, like around 30. I got a fortunate fill actually as well. The moment I'm buying, it's already at 12. And then here comes tragedy. I think, just on review, looking back at that, it got too high before giving a bit of a decent pullback. I needed to either just jump in. Or just leave it alone. Because it got a little too high up for the dip to have made sense. And then, just like this, in the blink of an eye. This is what the risk is with size. When you do decide to size up and you get caught in a flush out, it can be brutal. Just like that, $2,000. Boom, gone. Lost. In fact, it was more than 2,000 because it's showing we would have been up 1,700 here. We came out up 1,400 on this particular trade. Isn't that brutal? Brutal, 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 brutal. So fast forward. I mean, we can come back a little bit more, but you fast forward beyond this. Yeah, it came out with like 14, 1,300. Man, this trade here, man. This is the trade where let's look at the chart. This is the trade where I should have made like 13,000, over 10,000 on this trade. That you guys remember the day I had the 18K day? This is basically, it's not the same setup because that one was off the bull flag, more like something like this, and then I bought and the big green candle came. But this one was off the bear flag, and I knew over the high of the flag we're consolidating. Over the high, more than likely we're going to go. If we break down, more than likely it's going to come down, right? And what's crazy is that before the stock gave this move, in my mind, I ran through the simulation, but I think I only did it to the winning side, which was the problem. I didn't really assess the risk to the maximum, right? I only thought about what it would be if I take 9,000 shares at the breakout level and then sell into the highs. I didn't think about what it would mean if I take 9,000 shares or more into the breakout level and I'm selling into the absolute lows. And guess what? In the moment, as the stock starts to rip through and hold key levels here, 1150, 1130, 1120, I'm long at 40, and it proves confirmation. It dips slightly, it holds, it starts to move higher, and in my mind I'm like, buy, buy, buy. Hit the buy button, hit the buy button, hit the buy button. Like boom, 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 boom. But in my mind I'm like, dude, what if it fails? And oh my gosh. I think if I had thought about the risk before this trade, I would have been able to take the trade to an appropriate level because I would have already, whether it would have, I would have told myself either I'm going to accept that risk or I'm going to go in with a particular size. Maybe that's just not as much exposure. And the issue that I have is that I wasn't in full alignment with myself as to what I wanted to do, right? The trade that I ended up getting here was great. It was $1 a share, 3,000 shares, great. But I wanted to have more purpose behind this trade, more control, not running part of the simulation, but not the full thing. And then when the trade does make a move, I have no idea how I want to manage the risk, right? I need to be prepared for that before the trade comes up, so I know exactly how I want to execute. Because maybe I could have told myself, hey, instead of 10,000 plus, we're going to do 5,000, 6,000 shares. That way we're more comfortable with a loss, and then we can see how it does. So my Kodak moment, I kind of missed right here. A little tough, a little tough, a little tough. It's so crazy because I just could see myself, and if I would have hit the buy button 4 times or 3 more times, because of how egregious this move was, I would have been slowly scaling out rather than just all out one time. So it's possible that this trade right here could have been like a $15,000 trade, which would have been my biggest trade by like 5,000, 6,000. But the risk is there. On the other side, if I was to take that same size, or even the 3K shares, and you guys just saw a loss of 3K shares, and the stock is then down here, then just like that, you're down 10 grand. You're down 12 grand on the day. And you feel like a complete, you know what, right? So I think ultimately we can walk away smiling, knowing that we did a good job. But I still want to be able to assess both sides and have full control, not 80% control, right? And something that I did a pretty poor job of is that I complained to myself in my head here over and over about missing this move here to the fullest. And as a result, I didn't even properly look at this move here. And there was a trade or two, I think two trades that I missed in here that could have been like an extra 1K each because of how aggressive. I mean, the candles might look small, but a low of 1480, high of 1528, low of 1460, high of 1625. And then backside came, or not backside, but at least a consolidation came. You know, the consolidation is all about trying to get the range and being confident and comfortable with buying the lows, selling the highs. You know, maybe taking the breakout again if it comes, but we kind of broke down a couple of times, and you know that's kind of where this one started to fade out a little bit. And you know, that was all it wrote. But I mean, the halt levels being $3.50 away to the downside, $3.50 away to the upside, gave this one so much room. In fact, I wish all stocks would move like this. Gave this one so much room, and maybe that's a thing they can start doing in the future. I mean, the drops can be brutal, but the moves up can be lovely and exquisite. So, you know, in terms of tips, again, you know, manage size. You know, think about the price of the stock, how much it can go up or down. Think about your profit target. Think about your max loss, and manage share size as you go. In areas where you feel a little bit more comfortable and confident, perhaps a little bit more size. In areas where you're uncertain, where there might be a little bit of a drawdown or pullback or a couple of losses in a row, you size down and you try to play with that share size. Because, you know, I'm taking 3,000 shares, but also 500 shares in areas where I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to gain a good rhythm. And, you know, I'm not upset in those particular trades if I'm missing out on maximizing. So the trade where I'm in 500 shares and I make 60 cents, it's like, I don't even think about it as I could have made more versus how I did and carried on with this trade. And it's because I was in control of my game plan, right? I was thinking ahead of what I wanted to do and how I wanted to approach the stock. And that's the issue I had here. So, you know, it comes down to quick analysis. You got to really think about it fast. That's a lot of thing. You know, a lot of the trick with trading is that you got to be thinking 2 steps ahead. You got your analysis needs to be quick, and you got to be ready. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. Hit that thumbs up. You know, we're walking away here, $4,000, right back on track after the 2 weeks of me just going sideways, trying out to hold a little longer. We're done with that. We're back to business. We're back to normal, and we're gonna keep working on using size in the key areas. You know, that's gonna continue to be the goal for us. And I think a lot of it also stems beyond me and knowing where I could be in with size. A lot of this stuff has to do with your personal life and where you are financially in the journey. Because, you know, part of me know that I don't want to lose 10,000 in one trade, and I think that's what's holding me back right now. So by hitting these same base hits like today and these other days, like small days adding up, before you know it, you then get to be in a position where you're more comfortable to then take on that bigger risk. Because whilst it's like we can afford it, it's like part of me doesn't want it to happen, and there's no way I can you know be comfortable in those trades knowing that, right? So we got to be honest with ourselves here and do the right thing. And so that's what this month is all about, is getting back to the basics, being quick with our trades, and moving forward with confidence. So hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I'll be live again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Check out those links down below if you want to get involved with the community. You can check out the chat room, the Relentless Trading chat room. You guys can check it out. You have one of our bigger traders, Save, down 55,000 today. Small thing for him though. Dan up 108. There's various skill levels. You got Jimmy red today, 300. Cool Man also red today, $100. You had some red P&Ls here early, or rather later into the day. D trades 4,000. Let's continue here. Grandpa John, way to go, man. Way to go. Way to go, Grandpa John. Oren, way to battle back to green, getting it done. Enzo, back to green. Bit of chop, but back to green. Tim, 5K on the day. Dash, 1.6, getting it done. Blue Collar Phil, getting it done. As we mentioned, Save took losses today. You got Big Steve, who ended up finishing red. Usually Big Steve is always in the green on these type of days. Lucas as well, usually always in the green on these type of days. So, as we know, there was a little bit of chop, right? Here I posted my biggest winner and biggest loss for the team to see, just to show the risk. Minty, small red, keeping it tight. Dynasty in the green. Bradley getting it done with the small size. Shout out to Alice. We had a great success story interview today. That'll be out sometime soon on the weekend. And Alice, 4,200 on the day. We taught the students well, man. Mr. Man, Tempest, Mighty, 10,000, Shay, 500. The list goes on and on. How do you say this name? I have no idea how to pronounce this name. I can look it up. Green, Zay, Green, Save, as we mentioned, right? MMQ. So check out the chat room, and of course, check out the classes as well if you guys want to get involved with learning how to trade here, your day trading education, Merciless Markets, my day trading course, where coupon code TARIF can give you 40% off, all right, at checkout. Everything that's included in your subscription is listed right here. You'll have access to our A to Z course, our daily live streams, watch lists, game plans. In terms of scanners, there are a few different types: high of day, halt scanners, and gap scanners. We also have tutorials on all the platforms we use. And there's also the live trading archive library, right? The raw recording of the videos in the format of a library, so you guys can go through, check it out, see how we get it done. The live streaming Q&A sessions are also available. Weekly coaching calls, rehab calls, revision calls, mentor sessions. The curriculum is also here on the website. You guys can check it out. Very in-depth, very detailed, as it needs to be, so that you guys can learn. We don't guarantee success, but we guarantee transparency, because we show our students everything, and it's how we're able to have so many people turn the corner. I believe this is the best day trading community in the world for those reasons. So subscribe, hit that thumbs up, check out the classes, check out the chat, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. It's been Relentless Trader. See you at 9:15 a.m. tomorrow for another green day, and I'm signing out.